We forgive when we're ready to let go. And when we forgive, we release anything that is not ours to hold. I'm Kay, and our video teaches how to forgive. First step, be with your thoughts. You can only really figure out what it is that you need to forgive if you're actually allowing yourself to be in those thoughts. It may be painful, but it needs to be done. Next step, determine what needs to be forgiven. And that comes through being with your thoughts. So try and figure out what it is that's really annoying you or that you need to let go of. It could be within yourself, or it could be something that you've seen with others. So determine what it is that needs to be forgiven. And generally, this is likely to bring up emotions. So we come now to our next step, which is feel your feelings. Until we truly feel what it is that needs to be forgiven, it's really difficult for us to actually move through the forgiving process. So feel your feelings. If you're angry, feel angry. If you're sad, feel sad. Whatever it may be, feel it. Which brings us to our next step, is let go of past hurts. And this is where the feelings come back into it. Is so often, we carry these hurts that have gone on for as long as we can remember, or perhaps they've only just come into our lives. And it hurts so much, perhaps the behaviour from others, or perhaps it's you that needs to forgive yourself. So it's the behaviour that you have interacted in. And it's not about condoning the behaviour that's unacceptable, but it's about letting go so that you're not carrying the hurt that you have been carrying. Next step, make a choice. Make a choice to either move on or move through. More often than not, when we're talking about forgiveness, we're talking within relationships, whether it's the relationship you have with yourself or perhaps the relationship you have with someone else, which is often the case. So you have to question, is that relationship worth keeping in your life, or is it time to move on? If the relationship is something that you want to continue, so you choose to move through, then we come to our next step, which is set realistic boundaries for a new beginning. Obviously, there was something that needed to be forgiven for a reason. Perhaps you actually find that you've been in this cycle and it just keeps on happening again and again. So for you to actually move through this relationship, it's important that you recognise that realistic boundaries need to be set. Next step, effectively communicate those boundaries. Unless you actually specifically communicate with the other person that this is what needs to happen for us to healthily move on with our relationship, then they're not going to know. You cannot expect them to read your mind. So effectively communicate what it is that you need to set in terms of boundaries. And then the final step is forgive yourself and also forgive others involved. Unless you actually are ready, as we said in the beginning, to forgive, then it's likely that these happenings will just continue to cycle in your life. When your heart is ready to forgive, it's honestly as easy as saying, I forgive myself and I forgive so-and-so, and that will happen. But unless you're actually open to that forgiveness, as I mentioned, it's likely to recycle. So forgiveness, it comes from deep, deep within. And it really does come naturally. It just flows through your being when your heart chooses to be at peace. If you'd like to hear more about concepts like these, then please subscribe and join us at lovingactsofkindness.com. Thank you. Live a life of love.